The afternoon sun filtered through the trees lining Riverside Plaza, casting dappled shadows across the white concrete steps where office workers often took their lunch breaks. Marcus Reed sat there with his daughter Nora, sharing a simple turkey sandwich wrapped in brown paper. He wore his usual grey hoodie over a comfortable t-shirt. His dark hair slightly tousled from the morning breeze. They had made it a tradition. These lunches together between his morning custodial shift and her half-day at school. Nora was chattering about her art class when Marcus noticed the girl. She sat 3 steps below them, perhaps 9 or 10 years old, with long brown hair and shoulders that curved inward as if she were trying to disappear. Her school uniform was pristine, her backpack expensive-looking, but something about her posture made Marcus's heart ache with quiet sympathy. "Daddy," Nora whispered, tugging his sleeve. That girl looked sad. Over the years, Marcus had learned that sometimes the loneliest people were surrounded by the most things. He unwrapped the second half of their sandwich, the one he had been saving for his dinner break. "Excuse me," he said gently, leaning forward. "Are you okay?" The girl looked up, startled. Her eyes were red-rimmed. "I'm fine. You don't look fine, honey." "When's the last time you ate something?" She shrugged, looking away. "My mom's supposed to pick me up. She's in a meeting." Marcus glanced at his watch. It was getting late. "How long have you been waiting?" Since school let out. Without a word, Marcus stood and walked down to her step, holding out half the sandwich. "Here. You can't think straight on an empty stomach. My mother used to tell me that." The girl stared at the sandwich like it was a puzzle she couldn't solve. "I can't take your lunch. I've already eaten my half." This was extra. It wasn't true, but it was kind. And Marcus had long ago learned the difference between facts and truth. Nora scooted down to join them. Her honest face broke into a smile. "It's really good. Daddy makes the best sandwiches. He cuts them diagonal because it tastes better that way." The girl's lip trembled, and she took the sandwich with both hands. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm Marcus. This is my daughter, Nora. What's your name?" "Lila." They sat together on those sun-warmed steps, 3 people who had been strangers only moments before. Lila ate slowly, as if she was savoring more than just the food. Marcus didn't ask questions. He had learned that lonely people didn't need interrogation. They needed presence. "My mom works a lot," Lila finally said, her voice small. "She's important. She runs a big company." "I'm sure she is important," Marcus said carefully. "But you know what? You're important too." Lila looked at him with eyes too old for her young face. "She forgets sometimes." "Not on purpose." "She just forgets." Marcus felt that familiar weight in his chest, the one he had carried since losing his wife, the weight of trying to be enough, of knowing you sometimes fell short. "Being a parent is the hardest job in the world," he said softly. "We mess up, all of us. But that doesn't mean we don't love with everything we have." Behind them, unnoticed, a woman stood frozen on the plaza. Victoria Caldwell wore her signature white blazer over a lavender blouse, her brown leather bag clutched tightly in her hand. She had hurried from her office building, heart pounding, phone in hand with security alerts, that her daughter Lila hadn't been picked up, and here was her little girl sitting on public steps eating a sandwich from a stranger because her mother had lost track of time in a merger negotiation. Victoria's first instinct was to rush forward, to explain, to apologize. But something in the scene before her made her pause. Lila was smiling, actually smiling, talking to this man in his worn grey hoodie, laughing at something his daughter had said. "Your daddy seems really nice," Lila said to Nora. "He is. He's the best daddy in the world. Sometimes we have picnics for dinner right in our living room because he says happiness doesn't need a fancy restaurant." Marcus caught sight of Victoria then, standing there with her hand pressed to her throat. Their eyes met, and he saw everything in her face, the guilt, the fear, the exhaustion of trying to hold too much at once. He stood slowly, gently. "Lila, I think someone's here for you." Lila turned and saw her mother. Something complicated crossed her face, relief mixed with resignation. "Mom." Victoria walked forward on unsteady legs, her polished heels clicking against the concrete. "Lila, sweetheart, I'm so sorry." I got caught in a meeting, and I lost track of time. And it's okay, MOM. Lila's voice was quiet. Practiced at forgiveness. But it wasn't okay. And Victoria knew it. She looked at Marcus, this stranger who had shown her daughter more kindness than she had managed all week. Thank you for staying with her. I don't know how to no need, Marcus said simply. Anyone would have done the same. But they both knew that wasn't true. People had been walking past Lila for hours. Victoria knelt down to her daughter's level, not caring that her expensive slacks were pressing against the dusty concrete. Lila, I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. You deserve better than this. Lila's eyes filled with tears. You always say you're sorry. The words hung in the air like a bell that couldn't be unrung. Victoria felt them land in her chest, sharp and true. You're right, she said, her own voice breaking. I do, and I need to do better than sorry. Marcus touched Nora's shoulder. Come on, sweetheart. We should let them talk. But Victoria looked up at him, this man who had given his lunch to a lonely child. Please wait a moment. She stood, pulling out her wallet. Let me give you something for the sandwich for your time. No, Marcus's voice was gentle but firm. That's not why people help people. Victoria stared at him. And in that moment, she saw something she had forgotten existed. Simple human decency given freely, expecting nothing in return. Then let me buy you lunch, she said. Both of you. There's a CAF around the corner. Please, I'd like to thank you properly. And maybe Lila would like to spend a little more time with her new friends. Lila looked up hopefully. Can we, MOM, please? Marcus met Victoria's eyes. He saw exhaustion there. Yes, but also something else, a woman trying to find her way back to what mattered. He knew something about that journey. Lunch sounds nice, he said. They walked together to the small CAF 3 blocks away. Lila holding her mother's hand on one side and chattering to Nora on the other. Victoria and Marcus fell into step behind them, to adults watching their children navigate the complicated world of almost friendship. I'm Victoria Caldwell, she said quietly. I run Meridian Technologies, Marcus read. I'm a custodian at the Fletcher building downtown. She glanced at him, surprised by his directness. Most people added qualifiers, made excuses for honest work. How long have you been doing that? Since I lost my wife. Needed something with steady hours so I could raise Nora. I'm sorry about your wife. Thank you. And I'm sorry about whatever is pulling you in so many directions you can't get to your daughter on time. Victoria felt tears prick her eyes. When was the last time someone had acknowledged her struggle without judgment? It's not an excuse. No, but it's a reason. There's a difference. Over sandwiches and soup, the four of them talked. Lila told her mother about school, really told her, not just the surface details she usually offered. Nora shared stories about their weekend adventures, the small joys of a life lived simply. And Victoria found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't in years, listening to this man who seemed to have figured out what she had lost somewhere along the way. How do you do it? She asked Marcus when the girls had run off to look at the CAF's fish tank. Balance everything. Marcus smiled a little sadly. I don't balance it, Victoria. I choose it. Every day I choose Nora. Some days that means my house is a mess. Some days that means we eat cereal for dinner. But she knows without question that she matters more than anything else. I've been choosing wrong, Victoria whispered. You've been choosing what you thought you had to choose. That's different. He paused, stirring his coffee. My wife used to say that success isn't measured in the things we build. It's measured in the people we love, and who love us back. Took me losing her to understand what she meant. Victoria watched Lila at the fish tank, her face pressed close to the glass, Nora beside her, pointing at something. Her daughter looked happier than she had seen her in a long time. I've been building an empire, and losing my daughter, she said, then stopped building for a while. Or build different things. Children don't need empires. They need presents. It was a harsh truth delivered kindly, and Victoria felt it settle into her bones. I don't know if I can change everything overnight. Nobody can. But you can choose differently tomorrow than you did today, and then the day after that. Small choices made consistently, they add up to a life That evening, Victoria did something she hadn't done in a long while. She cancelled her evening conference calls. She turned off her phone. She sat on the floor of Lila's room and really listened as her daughter talked about everything and nothing. And the next day, she found Marcus's number through the Fletcher Building Management office and called him. "I wanted to thank you again," she said, "and to ask if maybe Nora and Lila could have a play date sometime. Lila hasn't stopped talking about her." "That would be nice," Marcus said. "Nora would like that. And Victoria, I wanted to tell you that I went home early today. First time in a long while. Lila and I made dinner together, pasta from a box and sauce from a jar. But we made it together." She could hear the smile in his voice. "That's good, Victoria. Really good." The playdates became regular occurrences: Saturday mornings at the park, Sunday afternoon movies. Simple things that cost little but meant everything, and gradually, carefully, Victoria and Marcus became friends. He taught her about being present. She taught him that it was okay to want more than just getting by. Later, on another sunny afternoon on those same plaza steps, Marcus and Victoria sat watching their daughters play tag with other children. "I changed my schedule," Victoria said. "I'm home at a good hour every night now." The board wasn't happy, but they adjusted. "It feels like I can breathe again." She turned to look at him. "Thank you, Marcus, for that day, for the sandwich, for the truth. You did the work, Victoria. I just pointed you in the right direction. You did more than that. You showed me what matters." Their hands were inches apart on the step between them. Marcus moved his pinky finger closer, the smallest gesture, a question asked without words. Victoria closed the distance, linking her pinky with his. "This is probably complicated," she said softly. "Most good things are. People will talk. CEO and custodian. Let them talk. I'm a single dad trying to raise a good human. You're a mother trying to be present for her daughter. Everything else is just noise above them." The afternoon sun continued its slow journey across the sky. Around them, the city bustled with people chasing things they thought they needed. But on those steps, 4 people had found something rare and precious: the simple grace of being seen, being valued, being chosen not for what they could provide, but for who they were. And sometimes that's more than enough. Sometimes that's everything.